Okay, welcome everybody to week 5 of our Introduction to Leadership and Public Speaking workshop for the fall 2024 semester. We're on the last workshop. Congratulations for, for making it. Um, as always, we start with a guest speaker, then we'll transition into our Introduction to Leadership, and then we will then go into our speeches, whoever wants to perform today for public speaking. I'll make a few announcements also along the way. So yeah, we'll get started. So our first speaker is Nicole Flores. She works at the IPCE office, or the Office of International Programs and Community Engagement. So, and one of the aspects of this office is studying abroad. We also do community engagement, which is a lot of the stuff I've been forwarding to you guys for your volunteering. But yeah, study abroad has a lot of really good things about it. So on that note, I'll have Nicole explain a little bit about the office at Lehman College. So thank you, Nicole, for coming.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Hello everyone. I'm just gonna share my screen real quick. So you're not just staring at my face the whole time. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see my screen. We're good. Good. Okay. So I am a study abroad advisor for the Office of International Programs and Community Engagement. That's a mouthful, so we usually just go by IPCE, or IPSI, as some people have called us, which I think is actually cuter. Um, so what we do in our office, there's sort of like three offices folded into one, but in essence, our goal on campus is to really foster global citizenship. So that means bringing global international students to Lehman and also sending our Lehman students to go out into the world and experience what studying abroad or volunteering abroad can be like. Also, side note, any photos you see in the presentation have either been taken by students abroad, or when I went abroad. I actually did a semester in Singapore myself. When I was a student here at Lehman, I was able to visit like 5 other countries when I was abroad. So I took tons of photos and I just kind of put them in here um, as placeholders for when eventually they can be replaced by tons of other photos from our students. So here's the team. So we are, like I said, kind of three offices folded into one. So we have a slightly bigger team than other offices you might be familiar with. Um, we have our ISSS side, our community engagement side, and our study abroad side. So specifically on the study abroad global programs, and we obviously create a lot of study abroad programs, a lot of international partnerships. We take care of all of our exchange students when they come to the office. We also have something called COIL, which is Collaborative Online International Learning. Right now we have COIL collaborative with Osaka Metropolitan University. So some of our Japanese language students here are getting to work with students in Japan so that they have like real-time practice when it comes to learning Japanese, and it's been incredibly beneficial for them. Like I said, we also have a number of international students. So the difference between an exchange student and an international student, exchange students are usually here for a semester up to an academic year. International students are here all 4 years, and we have about 40 plus on campus at the moment. So we handle all of their visa and immigration support, any cross-cultural activities that they are kind of required to do for visa status. And then we also recruit on that end. And then for community engagement, it's lots of local volunteer service work, global service learning, um, those kinds of things. So the breast cancer walk is something we did yesterday on the community engagement side, which I've heard from Jenny has had a lot of really positive results. So that's good. Um, I was in the office like helping make signs and everything. In previous, past years, we've sent students abroad to do service work, and even some domestic service work in other states. So all that kind of folded into one office. So we do a lot here. Specifically on global programs, we have sent our students to over 90 destinations. At this point, we're well over 300 students. I think we're closer to 400 at this point. And we help students additionally with the Gilman Scholarship, which is a study abroad scholarship for undergraduate students. You only have to be a citizen and a Pell recipient to get it, and it'll offer up to $5,000 for you to study abroad. And so we've helped over 100 students, well over 100 at this point, get Gilman scholarships. Gilman comes around twice a year, so twice a year we're just fully on board with scholarships and things like that. In addition to the sort of exchange partnerships, we also help faculty create their own um, abroad programs. So we have two faculty-led programs at Lehman right now. We have one to Puerto Rico in the winter and one to Osaka, Japan in the summer, which is all about like food and sustainability, which Emily actually went this past summer. So she is a prime example. If you have any questions about all the amazing things she did in Japan, I'm sure she'd be more than happy to answer those. And I'm very, very jealous about all the food she got to eat. But yeah. So yeah, on the community engagement side, if you are interested in doing any kind of service work or volunteer work, you can meet with Jenny Landsman. She's the Associate Director of Community Engagement. She will kind of do this personalized volunteer matching session where you can really match your direct interest to a program or organization that you can make a difference in. And then just explore, if you don't have any specific preference, you can also just explore what options are available to you and learn more about what service work and community engagement really is. So I'm going to talk a little bit more specifically about study abroad now, since that's kind of my wheelhouse. I'm going to go a bit into the benefits, some of the requirements, some option types, and then the funding. And if anybody has any questions at any point, feel free to drop them in the chat. I'll try to answer. So why bother doing some study abroad? Oh, is that a question, O'Neill?
Yes, I'm sorry for the time. My connection is horrible today. What happened in the first 10 minutes?
It's okay, Neil. We recorded everything, so I'll follow up with you so you can watch the recording beforehand.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
No worries. Okay, so why would you bother with any benefits of studying abroad? Well, it's a huge resume booster, right? So it will immediately make you more competitive to employers, um, grad schools, whatever it is, but it's a major resume booster. It looks really good. It shows cultural competency. It shows versatility, that you can adapt to a different culture, all those good things. We've had students just get jobs based on the fact that they studied abroad, get jobs based on the fact that they received the Gilman Scholarship. So it really does help make you a competitive, uh, in the job marketplace. It's also for credit. So all study abroad programs, in order for you even to be approved to go study abroad, it must be a credit bearing program of some sort. So you're not just doing this for funsies. It's not like a vacation. It's an actual like study abroad credit bearing thing. Um, and it will count towards whatever 120 you need to graduate, or sometimes in special cases for master's students, we've also been able to help them get some credit or have it count towards something. So it's a huge confidence booster. You're going to learn a lot about yourself, especially because you're in such a foreign environment, removed from your comfort zone, from that sort of support network you have. It's going to teach you a lot about yourself and what you're capable of. For a lot of our students, this would be their first time going abroad, so they've actually never been away before. When I studied abroad, I'd never been on a plane before. I didn't have a passport when I first walked into the office. I was totally new to the idea of going anywhere else. I just had one idea in mind, and that was that I wanted to travel. I wanted to get outside of New York and experience something different. And that was my goal. And so, yeah, and that's a lot of our students. It shows great leadership, which this is the leadership sort of course that you're taking. So this might be something you want to consider. a lot of your program is what you make of it. You're entirely in charge of your own experience. So you really have to take charge and be proactive and show a lot of that leadership quality in order to make the most of your experience while you're there, whether that's for a month, a couple of weeks, or an entire semester. You also can have form a lot of great friendships and connections, not only with students who are local to the place you're visiting, but also other international students who are in the same boat you are in, right? So they're just as nervous and scared and unfamiliar with the area as you are. And a lot of the times they will be the first people that you'll meet and try to make friends with. I still have two of my closest friends, one in Germany and one in England, that I talk to all the time. I actually went to England back in April and I was able to finally reconnect with my friend after 5 years, just because life kind of got in the way since we studied abroad. And it was like we picked up where we left off. We might as well have still been back in Singapore. And then, of course, travel. Like I said, I got to go to 5 other countries when I went, and you can do the same. You're free to travel outside of the country, either depending on the duration of your program, if you have time during the program, provided you're not missing class, or if you want to stay after your program's over, or even before if you want to arrive early and have extra time in the country to go do other things. Um, it's entirely dependent on you, where you want to go, what your budget is. But I will say the cost of living and the cost of travel in other countries is a lot cheaper than it is here in the US. I know the yen was very weak in Japan this summer. So there was sad for them, but great for us because we were able to do a ton of stuff. I remember taking a flight from Singapore to Thailand and it was $77 round trip. So it was absolutely amazing. It was the equivalent of flying from here to Florida on Spirit on a much nicer airline. So it was really, really great. And I encourage you while you're abroad to travel, go somewhere else, even if it's just one location. You don't have to be as ambitious as I was and try and tackle it all. We've even had students who did a month in France, and I think he went to like Switzerland for a weekend. We've had students who are studying in Spain go to Morocco, like close neighboring countries, so not too far away. But yeah, you can travel. You're free to travel. That's kind of the point that you're there. Besides studying in a different country, it's a great opportunity. So you have a couple of options in terms of studying abroad. You can do your short-term program. So you have your summer, winter. Winter could be anywhere from a week to 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Summer can be anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. Sometimes there are shorter programs, depends on what's available. As CUNY students, you're eligible to apply to any CUNY study abroad program. You're not just limited to the ones here at Lehman. At Lehman, all of our exchange programs are long-term programs, so they're semester long. So you could go for fall or spring, or if you're very bold, you can go for a whole academic year. We have yet to have a student do that, but one day, hopefully. So those are your options in terms of program length. It varies program to program, country to country. It's kind of really what you want. You can pick and choose. Your minimum qualifications, you have to have a 2.5 GPA and you cannot currently be on academic probation. You also, most programs do not require, I mean, I would say, yeah, like 99% of programs don't require language proficiency. So you don't actually need to know the language of the country you're visiting. So like, you don't necessarily need to know Japanese in order to go to Japan. You can just go and then take language courses when you're there, and that can count towards your language credits if you haven't fulfilled them here at Lehman. If you do have some proficiency, I mean, great, and you're ahead of the game when you get there, right? And then how can you afford to study abroad? So we, like I said, we work with you on all of your sort of study abroad scholarships. Gilman is a really, really big one for our office. This past cycle, we had 26 applicants go through our office. Yes, so it was a lot. But we work with our students pretty closely. We try really hard. I would say some students come last minute. Please don't do that to us. But most of our students were able to at least meet with at least once or twice, some of them multiple times over the course of a few weeks working on these essays for their scholarships. I think we probably worked really closely with about 12 to 15 of them. Um, This is by no means like an extensive list of every study abroad scholarship there is. There's others out there. The Fund for Education Abroad is another one that a lot of people will apply to. But in terms of how you can afford it, your program costs and your tuition are different. Tuition, if you're going within CUNY, and however your tuition is covered here at your home institution, so whether that be through Pell, like FAFSA or TAP, then that's usually how it'll be covered when you go abroad, because it's like taking a credit at another CUNY school. It's like it's an e-permit transfer. Your program costs are different. That's like your room and board and your any excursion fees, any kind of fees like that. And in that case, this is what you would use your scholarships to cover. And also you can use these scholarships to cover airfare. So when I went to Singapore, I had enough money to cover my room and board and my airfare, and then I had some left over. So just for life reasons, food and things like that. So you can use your scholarship money however you want. You can stack scholarships, and a lot of these you can apply as many times as you want, but you can only receive the funds once. So once you get it, it's sort of a one and done kind of thing. Well, these are some of the examples. The deadline for Gilman was in October, but it also comes again in March. So if you're interested, you can apply again in March. Fund for Education is TBA. It usually opens sometime in December, and Freeman usually opens sometime in February. But these are sort of the three scholarships that we work with the most on our students. And then what do you write about? You write about you. What's your background? How does your program connect to your academic goals, your professional goals? What will this program do for you in the future? What challenges have you faced in your academic career that have prepared you to go study abroad? And what preparations are you making to go study abroad? All that info gets dumped into your essays, and then you can sort of we polish it, we edit it, we, read it to death, and then you submit when you're finally ready to go. These are just some examples of our students who have gone abroad. We have some people who went to Japan. So that's Natalie. Natalie, fun fact, didn't speak any Japanese when she went to Japan and came back like almost fluent. So she's super impressive. This is Alex, Dylan, and Carlos. We have Shahidul. He did a medical internship in Morocco. I believe now he wants to do dentistry, but his internship was really cool. He did a homestay that had was a kind of a unique homestay. Homestays are usually just families that you'll stay with that are vetted by the program and by the school, and they kind of serve as a built-in support network for you when you're abroad. His homestay was a little different because he just had sort of a house with maids and a private driver who would just take him around. So his homestay was a little bougier than most. I can't promise every program will be like that, but yeah, he had an amazing time. And Tanisha also did a homestay. She was with 3 other Lehman students in Spain. Hers was just your typical sort of family homestay. We had Astrid, who went to France. She studied film there. Mumina went to South Korea. She had an amazing time at one of our partner institutions. And Yaeli did a summer program in Taiwan for 8 weeks to learn Mandarin. And I think now she's on to learning like Japanese and I think an Irish or something. She's like a polyglot. She loves languages. So these are our students. And there's so many more who have such amazing stories. This is just a sort of macro snapshot of all the places we've sent our students to. So you can see a lot of, Asia and Europe are really popular, but specifically Japan and South Korea are like our 2 top locations. These are our partner institutions. So these are the ones who we have direct exchanges with. So we have a few in Japan, South Korea, France, England, and Germany. And these are the qualities we're looking for in students who want to study abroad. You need good communication. You need good time management. It's super important. Of course, we would love for you to be curious about another country. I mean, I don't know why you would go if you weren't curious about what another country is like. It takes a great deal of courage to go. You have to be reliable, and you must take initiative when it comes to just being proactive about things. And I'll just leave a little bit of time for questions. Hopefully I'm not super over time, but
You're good. We run until 5 o'clock. So
okay.
we have, yeah. So yeah. You're good.
Okay,
Uh,
perfect.
O'Neill?
I have one question. You see a bit different compares the classes we receive in Lehman with the classes in other countries?
Sorry, I didn't quite get that.
Do you see a difference in classes in other countries compared to Lehman?
Yeah,
Oh,
thank you so much, Emily.
No problem.
yeah. The way that you'll be taught is usually really different, depending on the country that you go to. So I know in Singapore they use the British system for college classes. So they have a lecture and a tutorial. So the lecture is like your typical professor talking at you for an hour type thing. And then your tutorial is where you do like classwork and really get into the nitty gritty of whatever it is you're trying to understand. And sometimes they will have two different professors for those. So you'll have a lecture professor and a tutorial professor. So that was really different. I felt like I was in school all the time in Singapore because they had like double the classes. Because here at Lehman, we tend to fold your classwork and your, you know, um, lecture work all at the same time. I guess it would be the equivalent of a lecture and a lab here. But imagine that for all your classes. David, you had a question?
Yes, hi. You mentioned earlier about some of these scholarships that would kind of help fund our study abroad, like you said, Freeman and Gilman or something. But the deadline passed. So would that mean are we still encouraged to start like our applications and send it to you now, or how does that like work? And or is it like on a rolling basis, or yeah? Because
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, no, no worries.
Mm.
Yeah, so basically, yes, a lot of these scholarships are yearly and then sometimes twice a year. So even if you miss the deadline this time around, it's always encouraged that you continue to work on it and work with us so that you're ready for the next time it comes around. So for example, Gilman comes around twice, once in March, once in October. So even if you miss the October deadline, you still can apply for March, and then you could go to a summer program or next fall or winter program after that. Um, I know March seems like it's far away, but when you're applying for Gilman and all these scholarships, trust me, the time flies. And Gilman is always due during like midterms for some reason. So you're going to have a ton of other things that you're going to be working on at the same time. So we always encourage you to start early. Um, studying abroad is a marathon, not a race. The minimum turnaround for most students is 6 months. So you really are planning
Mm.
for the future.
If I
Uh,
can,
okay,
sorry.
thank you.
If
Mhm.
I can add to that too, like, because I actually applied to Gilman. I started working with the IPC office. It was like around August. And I purposely did not submit it in October because I wanted to really like fine tune my essay, not rush it. And I applied for the one in March and I got it.
Mm.
So, take your time when you do, do a lot of research, and connect with the office because they really do help you along the way, like, you know, f- feeling out those questions, like how to respond, how to explore like why this country, why this program, because that will actually help you develop a really good essay and like kind of connected also to public speaking. Like that's what I actually attribute, like working on my Gilman specifically, that helped me become a better speaker. So even if you're just like, I don't know if I want to study abroad, like I recommend still connecting just so that you can start exploring options and start utilizing some of those skills and tools that they have available. So
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, we always I had a student last fall who just went to South Korea this fall. So she applied for Gilman last fall, a year ahead, and she got Gilman and then is finally here. I myself, I applied in the fall, so I had started working on it like August, applied that October cycle, and then didn't actually, I got Gilman, but I also didn't actually study abroad until April of the following year. So it's a really long sort of turnaround a lot of the time. Any other questions? Oh, let me check the chat actually.
Or is anybody like interested in going to any countries in specific? Like just, just to start a conversation of like, is there something like a place that you really want to go to? O'Neill?
Maybe Spain.
Spain?
That's a pretty
Yeah.
popular destination, yeah.
Nice, nice. I see Germany. Germany sounds great.
Germany.
Oh, we have that info session, Spain or Puerto Rico. Oh, we have the Puerto Rican program too.
Yeah, we have Puerto Rico, we have France as an option, and we also have Germany. We
Speaking of
haven't,
info sessions, I'm sorry.
yeah, go ahead.
Because I did attend to one of the ones for Osaka, and
Mhm.
it just seemed like a very like elaborate program when it came to like how you mentioned, classes for languages and that you would do also like virtually. So it was kind of like a bit intimidating. I actually have like another question about that when it comes to preparation, because now that you mentioned it is like like a 6 months long like process. Like how do I kind of get into like that mindset, or like how do I guess like transition like I guess in that way when it comes to doing like these scholarships and preparing for these programs, do we have to find a place? Are we encouraged to look for internships while we're studying abroad? I don't know. Yeah, there's like a lot. Sorry.
Yeah, no
Mm.
worries. So your first step is just to book an appointment with the office. So super easy. Just scan the QR code on the screen right now, of here.
Uh-huh.
So you can book an intake appointment. That's for students who've never met with anyone from the study abroad office before. It's about a half hour. You can meet with an advisor. A lot of our advisors are students who have been abroad previously, or who work in the office, obviously. And so you can actually just talk to them, ask them all your questions. They'll do their best. Sometimes we get very specific questions, but we'll do our best to answer everything. But yeah, that's your first step in terms of applying, is just connecting with us and meeting with us so that we have record of you. We know where you might want to go. We've had some students who will meet with an advisor and then not go until, like, they'll meet with someone in freshman year and then not go till junior year. So sometimes it's really just like having that connection the whole time while you're with us so that we can keep encouraging you and working with you, if you want. In terms of internships, I don't necessarily recommend internships abroad, mostly because you're paying to work for someone else. And while I know that international experience can be useful, we just haven't found a program or an organization where we like the internships they place our students in, and we have no control over where they place you. So we can't recommend that. Um, but the study abroad experience on its own, I think, is valuable enough and attractive enough for employers to want to hire you. So I wouldn't necessarily worry about it. If you're worried about income, you can work when you're abroad. We don't organize that for you, but we've had some very resourceful students who are able to find employment in various different ways when they're abroad. I know one of our partner institutions does like English tutoring, where they will pay our students to English tutor. I think that's in Japan for Tenri. So you can do it. There are ways of making money when you're abroad, but in terms of the internship aspect of it and finding employment, we don't necessarily do that part. I did see some questions in the chat. Let me just.
I can read them off for you. When is the best time to study abroad as a first-year student, and will it affect academic year at Lehman?
So best time the first time that you can study abroad as a first year student is after your first semester, because you need a transcript. So before that, if don't usually have a college transcript, you're just getting here at Lehman. So that's the earliest. So if you're a first year student, so fall semester is your first one. The earliest you could have gone is in the spring, but since you're just finding about it now, you could try doing a summer program. Um, But yeah, anything, there's no limit after that. As long as you have your like transcripts, then you can go. It shouldn't affect anything. I always say the earlier you can go study abroad, the better, especially before you declare a major. Why? You have more freedom to take more wide range of classes. So, and then, Pell and TAP will cover them because you haven't declared a major yet. So you're kind of, that's like a little loophole that you can get away with. That's why like people encourage you to take like your art classes and your fun classes like when you're a freshman and sophomore because you haven't declared a major, so it doesn't really count for against anything. But that doesn't mean that if you're already declared a major or if you're not a freshman or sophomore that you can't go. Of course, you can go. I mean, Emily has gone twice and she's like in a graduate program. So there's always a way for you to do that. And it shouldn't affect anything within your academics.
Can you choose whether or not you want to do a homestay?
Yes. So a lot of the time there is an option. There are a few programs where that is the only option, but most programs are just dorm. And then there is the additional option if you want to do a homestay. I know homestay can sound sketchy for people. They're like a little alarms, like, oh, I'm just gonna go stay with some strangers for like a month or two. But I will say all of our students who have done homestays cannot speak highly of them enough. Like they absolutely loved their homestay. And it really does help to have that sort of built-in support network. And I mean, they cook for you and they usually do your laundry for you. So it's kind of nice to have someone else take care of that stuff. Especially like no one's done my laundry for me in years. So that sounds great. And is
And
there
then
another?
Abraham has 3 questions. So one of them is, I came across CIEE.org. Can you let me know if it's legit? That's the first one. I do know that that organization is one of the ones that you have mentioned. So it is a place where you can find programs. Do you have anything to add to that, Nicole? Or
Yeah, so CIEE, I know itself. I think it's just CIEE.org. I don't know about my CIEE.org that I'm not sure about, but I know CIEE.org is for sure a legit like organization. We send a lot of students through there. We always recommend their summer programs or like their shorter programs because their semester long programs can be quite expensive. So we recommend just like, summer or winter if they happen to have winter. And again, we tend to try and stay away from the internship bit until they have that part figured out a little bit. Okay, let me look at,
is there anything for graduating seniors?
so not for graduating seniors, only because you must be a matriculated student when you go abroad. So the way that we've gotten around that in the past is for our seniors, you must delay your graduation date. So meaning if you're supposed to graduate in the spring, you could not apply for graduation in the spring, go on your summer program, and then apply when you get back. All that changes really is just that the date on your diploma is different. If you are, it could get dicey if you're like planning to go to like a graduate school and you've got a strict turnaround time for that kind of thing. But that's the only way that we can recommend for our seniors to do, like if they want to go after their like last semester, then that would be the best way to go about it. But if you book an appointment, you can book with anybody and we should be able to figure out for your specific kind of situation if it makes sense for you.
And the last question he had was, is study abroad eligible for non-citizens such as green card holders?
Yes. So, while you might not be eligible for Gilman Scholarship, Fund for Education, and Freeman Asia, I think are open to permanent residents, DACA recipients, maybe green card holders. I have to double check on that. But yeah, so there are some scholarships that are a little bit more forgiving in terms of citizenship status. As long as you are permitted to travel outside of the country and then come back, then you can study abroad. If you can't go outside of the country without getting in trouble when you want to come back, then you might want to consider other options, like state to state. We don't have anything just that, but you can also do like direct enrollment. to another institution for a semester or so.
I do know also, this is more of a side thing, that I was talking to the director of Study Abroad Unice. She was talking about Access VR. And so Access VR is a program, if you're a student registered with the Student Disability Services at Lehman College, you can additionally apply for Access VR, and they actually fund tuition for students. So if you don't have any tuition, you can apply for this if you have a disability. And you just have to be a resident. You don't have to be a citizen. And they also do programs. And so you could be an undergrad or a graduate student. And then any sort of additional programs that you'll say, this will essentially contribute to my, career goals, they'll fund you. So it's a great program. So there are programs. So if you want to find something specific, again, reach out to IPCE, make an appointment. They really do help you like find things along the way. And it, kind of just to wrap up too, like it really does help you not just with the credits, but looking good on the resume, but it also gives you those additional skills that kind of make you an expert in certain things. So like, for example, as Nicole mentioned, like I went to Osaka, I did the food program in Japan. And one of the research things that I was working on was I was working with Osaka Metropolitan University students, and we were talking about why is food so much less expensive there than it is here? And so we, uncovered some stuff. And some of you know that I'm interning this semester in State Senator John Liu's office. I'm taking that knowledge that I learned in Japan, and I'm actually helping to write a bill to actually make it so that food is accessible here like it is in Japan. So, and that was one of the hiring points that they had for me for this internship. They were just like, oh, this is really great. Like we want somebody like you that can, do this, even though it's not, political science is not my major. I'm health education and promotion. So even if, life takes you into different directions, you have these different, skills that you can build up upon. So yeah, I see some other, it's quiet here. Oh no, somebody's saying it's quiet.
No,
Ah.
I think it's my AI. I don't know how to get my note taker off.
Oh, I have no
So
idea.
you can disconnect it. I don't even know how to do it.
I'm not sure. Well, either way, we're doing the recording. So at least
Okay. I apologize.
no problem. Okay, so I guess on that note, thank you, Nicole, so much. Any final words, by the way, or like?
No, yeah, just please consider it. I can't recommend it enough. I would not have the career or even the life I have now had I not studied abroad. It really is sort of one of those like canon events that forever changed the trajectory of my life. And definitely for the better. So if it is something that you can consider, we've had students of all walks of life come through our office and go and be able to study abroad, whether they're like, single parents, they have disabilities, they are first generation college students, whatever it may be, they've all been able to go and then come back just so different and so changed for the better. And it's always just a really rewarding part of what I do. So if you can consider it, please do. Even if you're nervous or you're not sure, you feel overwhelmed, we'll walk you through every step. Don't worry. We've got you. We're your support network here. We even do like pre-departure and re-entry orientation. So we're the last people you see before you leave, and we're the first people you see when you come back, basically. So yes, thank you so much for having me. Good luck with everything. I'm gonna go exit now.
Awesome. Thank you so much,
Thank you for the
Nicole.
presentation.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Awesome.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Yeah, definitely. Like I highly recommend it if you have the chance to go. And there are different ways to fund it too. So even if you don't have any financial aid for it. One of their programs to Japan, it's like $800 out of pocket. Like that, it included everything, the dorm, the food, transportation in the country, everything. So there are options. So reach out to them. They could help you find some things. On that note, before we transition into introduction to leadership, by just a show of hands, how many people we're going to present today that want to do their public speaking, their speech? I saw a few people in the WhatsApp chat, but is there anybody here that wanted
I
to?
wanna,
Okay.
sorry.
No,
I-
no, I'm asking.
I wanted to do it now, but I'm on my way to pick up my kids.
Yeah, well, we're
So,
gonna
I
do
don't think
intro. No, so you have time. So I'm just getting a feel of like, so David isn't rushed. So essentially, because we have until 5 o'clock. So, okay, I want to go. Okay, so I have 2 people.
So I did have a question about that. Because I didn't have time, I guess, to like ask when it came to I guess like structure
Mm-hmm.
of the presentation, because I'm actually am working on a presentation for one of my courses. So I wanted to know like if there's anything that you were looking for to like make adjustments. Like real quick, you know.
We'll go over that afterwards. When specifically like when we start discussing about the speeches. So
All right, yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
amazing. Thank you. All right, cool. So, okay, so yeah, we won't be rushed. So I see, about 4 people want to go speak. So, all right, so cool. On that note, our introduction to leadership speaker, David Chacape. If anybody does not know who this wonderful person is, he is one of the administrators in the Office of Campus Life. He works very closely with student government and also the clubs at Lehman College. He's just amazing. If you don't know him, reach out to him. He's great. So he's going to be presenting on our last exemplary leadership trait, which is encourage the heart. So
thank you, Emily. And I see, and I'm glad to see some familiar faces here. O'Neill, Ibrahim, thank you for coming. All right.
Welcome,
So,
David.
thank you. All right. So, yes, my name is David Chacape. I'm Assistant Director for the Office of Campus Life here at Lehman. And like yourselves, I was a student about 10 years ago. And I was involved with student clubs. As an administrator, I also serve as a chaperone for one of the international volunteering opportunities that Nicole was explaining earlier. So I know travel abroad is a really nice experience for anyone. Highly recommended. So today, like Emily mentioned, I'm going to be presenting on Encourage the Heart. I have a presentation for you ready. And we'll go straight to it. Okay, so I know your last class was 2 weeks ago, right? So I actually wanted to do a recap because this is the closing workshop. So what is leadership, right? So I think we need to understand that leadership is a way to inspire and influence and guide others towards a common goal. That is the goal of leadership, right? If you are a leader, you should be inspiring, you should be influencing, and should be guiding. It's not telling people what to do, because that's a manager. A manager tells other people to do what to do. A leader inspires people to. You don't, without telling them exactly what to do, you inspire them to, you motivate them to work towards a shared goal. Okay, so that's what a leader does, and not necessarily is positional, right? In a team, you might have a supervisor, but in a team, it might be a subordinate who is a leader and moves the team to actually do things. So a supervisor is not necessarily a leader. A leader inspires, influences, and guides others. Okay. Last week you talked about enables others to act, right? That means, well, I'm just gonna read it off. Effective leaders empower their team members by fostering collaboration and building trust, right? And we're gonna touch a little bit on this as well in encouraging the heart. But this is telling you to trust your team. Without trusting your team, you really can't. People will notice that you are doubting your team, and you are going to end up giving commands rather than trusting that they actually will choose a good path on working towards a shared goal. Okay. So they delegate responsibility and authority, providing support and resources to help others succeed. Of course, you want to make your team you want to aid your team as much as possible by creating a supportive environment where people feel valued and empowered, and they cultivate a sense of ownership and commitment. All right, so we're going to touch on this as well in Encourage the Heart because they're all kind of interconnecting. So what is encouraging the heart? As I said, leadership is about inspiring other people to do things, not just telling them to do. And so encouraging the heart talks about this important component of reward and recognition. Okay, so those two things. And I have a summary here. Right, great leaders recognize and celebrate the contributions of others. So this is all about recognition and celebration of accomplishments. They express appreciation and gratitude, acknowledging individuals and collective achievements. By celebrating milestones and reinforcing shared values, they cultivate a positive and resilient organizational culture where people feel inspired and motivated to excel. So important over here. You may eventually be a supervisor at some point. You will have your team. And of course, you need to check on the progress of individuals or teams, right? And many times employees, they tend to dread these meetings because it's all about pointing out what you did wrong or what people did wrong or what went bad. And it's about corrections rather than celebrating accomplishments or telling them what went well, right? So this is focusing on the positives, always the positives, and that this positive feedback has to be recurrent, often, and it has to happen, right? So, and to encourage students or leaders to do this periodically with no, it's a necessary step. So we have two things that we're going to explore, and I'll break it down a little bit more. So we have the individual recognition, so recognize contributions, okay? And then we're going to also recognize the team by celebrating their values and victories, okay? And it's creating a spirit of community. So there is two things that you as leaders have to do. Recognize the individual contributions and then recognize the team as a whole, okay? And I want you, since I don't want to talk all the all this session, I want to ask you something, and you can just reply in the chat. Your family is a team, okay? How do you recognize contributions in your family? And contributions could be very small, like taking out the trash, cleaning out your bedroom, cleaning out the bathroom. Small contributions. How do you recognize other people, right? So you might not be, the head of household, but you are part of that team. And it's part of your leadership to understand that you also can reinforce positive behaviors from your parents, from your brothers, from your kids, from your pets, right? Even if they are small. So think about that. How do you recognize contributions? What do you do? Do you go out to take dinner outside? Maybe you give them candy. Maybe you just hug, you know. O'Neill.
Vamos a from I see, we can see contribution in family is when the parent help the children with the homework. What do you think about that example, David?
Sure. I mean, that's a signal of love. Yeah, helping them somebody. But when somebody does something great, how do you let them know that they did that well? I'm gonna switch to Ellis. You had something to say?
Yes.
Go ahead.
So I had two comments. Well,
Yeah.
first, obviously we give them thanks. So we give them the thanks because of what they did. I also had another question regarding what you said beforehand,
Right.
where you was talking about recognizing the employees. I had a question of like, how often do you think that should be done?
Very good. We actually have a video, which is going to go a little bit later, but that professional says it has to be every week. Every week you have a meeting with either with your team as a whole or individual meetings with your employees, and you tell them what went well on that meeting. And so you recognize them in private first, but at the end of the day, maybe not recognitions in public weekly, but we have another another speaker who makes public recognitions every month. And so it really depends on your team and how it works. But you have to make a commitment that these are made periodically. If it's not once a week, every 2 weeks. If it's not every 2 weeks, every month. But you make sure that you have you take the effort to actually recognize contributions. And we're actually going to explore why that's important. I mean, we are kind of already touched on that, but we are going to reiterate what it is. Okay, so we're gonna watch a video. We are not gonna watch the entire video, but this is a good one. Oh, and I want to make sure that my audio is being shared. 1 second. Share sound. Okay, very good.
There's a reason why you can hand
Oops,
out as many.
sorry, I think it's very low.
Yeah, it's very low.
Gift cards as you want and give out all the awards in the world, and your employees will still say they don't feel recognized on your employee engagement survey. Hi, I'm Chris Littlefield. I'm the founder of Beyond Thank You. I am a regular contributor to Harvard Business Review and Forbes, and I've spent over 15 years researching and training leaders in the art of recognition and engagement. Now, one of the things that I try to first do in my workshops is update people's terminology, because sadly, many leaders have collapsed rewards and awards with recognition, where rewards and awards aren't recognition in and of themselves, but a delivery tool for a message. So the first thing that I introduce is what I refer to as my inverted pyramid of importance, right? Because if you think of most models like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, what's at the top? Self-actualization. So we think that the top of the pyramid is what matters most. So in this model, I flip that pyramid upside down, and what I put up at the top is appreciating the person. Those little things that we do each day that send signals to people that we value them. That's saying good morning, that remembering people's names, that's asking about people's families, caring about people's development, and checking in when they had a family member who's sick or they were sick, noticing when they don't come in. So those little things that we do that signal to people that we value them for who they are, what they contribute, and what it takes to do their job each day. And then next on that pyramid is acknowledging the circumstances. That's thank you for coming in when it's super cold outside or when it's really hot outside, or thank you for coming in and covering the shift when we're down staff right now. It's showing that you as a leader are aware of the circumstances in which your people are working in. It's coming in and saying, hey, I know we're down staff. Let me come in and cover you so you can take a break. But it's being aware how the internal circumstances, the external circumstances, and people's personal circumstances are impacting them. And that requires you as a leader to be self-aware and be paying attention to those circumstances. That's extremely important for signaling to people that we value them. And now next is recognizing effort and progress. Now, many people think that we're only supposed to recognize people when they produced a result. But that's not the case. So imagine if you were on the basketball court and nobody was going to clap in the stands until you won the game. How hard would you be playing? Recognition plays the role of signaling to people that they're on the right track, that we notice their effort, that we're celebrating their effort along the way. Hey, thank you for the effort on that. I love what you did design-wise. I love the content you put in. Thanks for the extra time you put on that project. And what I often do, and I've written articles on this, is doing reflective recognition, because most of the time what people want to be recognized for are the things that we don't see. But it's making sure that we recognize effort and progress along the way. And then there's rewarding results. And rewarding results may be somebody accomplishes something during a certain deadline or hits a certain target, and then we're going to reward them for that performance or that result that they produced, and then we award people for standout results. Maybe somebody goes way above and beyond, or they land an absolutely huge contract, or they exemplify the values of our company, and then we nominate them for an award in our company for their standout results or standout performance. So that's appreciating the person, acknowledging the circumstances, recognizing effort and progress, and then rewarding results and awarding standout results.
You're muted, David.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. I didn't recognize. All right. So I think this is very clear, right? We have several tools to signal our team members that, let's see. Let me go to the next slide. We have different tools to recognize people, to signal them that they are doing well, right? And some of them are just very easy, just actually telling them a thank you, showing them appreciation, sharing, being there for them. If in case of your family, which is everyone's team, right, is to ask them how they are doing, saying good morning. So those things are appreciation, and that's constant, right? Of course, that's not once per week, right? That's every day you show appreciation for your team, and that has to be the norm. To be honest, a good leader treats everyone. I won't say like a family, because but you have to show that you care for your team members, right? As people, and of course you have rewards and awards, which shouldn't be just be given out. It should be recognizing something that is above and beyond the expected, or maybe at least the expected. Okay. All right. So recognizing contributions. All leaders make the commitment to recognize contributions. They do it because people need encouragement to function at their best. Okay. So two essentials in recognizing contributions. Similar to last week's presentation, you have to trust your team. You have to expect the best from your team. And then you have to personalize the recognition, okay? Personalizing the recognition means it also means that you have to know what your team is doing. So there is work over here in recognizing people, because you have to make the effort of actually knowing what your team is doing, what they're doing and how they're doing it. So there is work involving in both of these in recognition. The more personalized you do it, the more impactful that recognition becomes, because the employee or your team member will know what they are getting recognized for, especially those tasks that are probably never thanked, or very behind the curtains kind of thing that nobody really sees other than you, your supervisor or your teammate. Like I said, expect the best. You have to show your team that you believe in them. Oops, excuse me. Be clear about the goals and rules, and provide regular feedback. This is the 3 steps or 3 practices for expecting the best of your team. You cannot just expect the best without being clear about what is expected from them, goals and rules. And without follow-up, telling them you're in the right track, continue, okay? And I'm gonna show you a video, and this is for parenting, but it shows a key concept: positive reinforcement.
Positive reinforcement is a technique used to improve behavior. It works with children in the classroom or at home, especially kids on the autism spectrum and with behavior problems. Dog training uses positive reinforcement. You say sit and the dog sits, then you give it a treat. The reward motivates the dog to sit on command to earn another treat. Positive reinforcement exists in the natural world. If you are thirsty and you take a drink of water, you feel satisfied and you will probably take a drink the next time you feel thirst. Any action that gives you a positive result will inspire you to repeat it. It is easier to notice annoying, rude, distracting, or inattentive behavior. We usually reprimand bad conduct. Punishment can be the quickest way to stop a bad behavior, but the effect doesn't last. Punishment can backfire, as when a child misbehaves to gain attention.
This is particularly true for employees as well, or for teammates. It's easy to point out the bad and perhaps punish them, right? Yell at them or whatever. But that doesn't solve the problem, or it doesn't help psychologically to turn the behavior around. It might turn about, like it says, the effect doesn't last. So use rewards and encouragement and as a tool to make sure that the team is actually working.
However, when you encourage desired behaviors, they tend to happen again and again. The most effective rewards are adult attention, time, and verbal appreciation. Frequent and consistent positive feedback works best. Repeating the reward strengthens good behavior. A good standard is to give 5 positive reinforcements for each correction. Rewards can be simple, such as a smile, a nod, or saying thank you. For instance, you can acknowledge a child for sitting quietly, raising her hand, or other good behaviors 5 times. If the child then does something bad, like breaking a glass, you can say, "Please remember to be careful." Then you start the cycle of 5 positive reinforcements again. Positive reinforcement can work in many situations, with workers, teenagers, toddlers, and even on yourself. When starting a new exercise routine, give yourself a reward right after you work out. Positive reinforcement helps you stick to your routine. Getting started with positive reinforcement requires conscious effort. Resolve to breaking the habit of noticing only bad behavior and instead focus on good conduct. Thank you for watching our video. We're always
All right. Let's see where we stopped right here. All right, so we're just talking about that video was about reinforcing good behavior, right? And that is what personalized recognition is. At the individual level, you are incentivizing behavior that is good for the team. And so, and in order to make it more effective, you need to personalize it. So it's at the personal level, right? It's not something that you just, that has no thought behind it. So recognition needs to come from and be expressed from the heart, be genuine. And one of the most common complaints about recognition is that often is highly predictable, routine, and impersonal, right? So if it's any of these, then it loses their value. It's just a checkbox in the list of the leader, right? So you need to get to know people, you need to be creative, and sometimes just a thank you may be just enough for a personal recognition. I have this video which talk about recognizing achievement and how often. I'm not playing the entire video. It's just a part of it, okay?
Let's take a look at the fourth leadership task. Leaders recognize accomplishments. Leaders recognize accomplishments. Let's listen to how David Cunningham did this.
That don't recognize the accomplishments of their people. So I think that the great captains that I've known have really done a good job of recognizing that. I tried every day at sea that I would come on the 1MC, what we call the 1MC, which is the announcing system, the general announcing system of the ship. And I would say, good morning, you know, and this is what we're doing today, and these are the important things I think we need to be focused on today. And then I'd ended up with my unsung heroes. And I would, in going around the ship, I would try to find somebody that was doing a job that they went above and beyond. But nobody really would normally recognize that. I would have an award ceremony once a month. I got the whole crew together. It took a lot of time away from all other work we did, but it was, to me, it was very important that we recognize people, guys that would be advanced, or guys that got you know, some special situation, or somebody that was being recognized out in town for doing some volunteer work. You recognized all that stuff, and they came up in front of their shipmates, and they got some face time in front of the whole crew. Just, it seems simple, but if you don't do those things, I think you lose a lot.
All right, so now we're transitioning into celebration, okay? So a question for you again. Now we talked about recognitions, but now we're talking about celebrations in your family, right? So you celebrate usually, you know, a birthday, right? But when you celebrate an achievement, maybe graduating from college, right? What is it that you do? Or maybe even something smaller, you know, maybe what could it be? Maybe you got your driver's license. What does your family usually do? And how often do you actually do it? So write that in the chat, or if you want to comment, you can feel free to do so. Okay, so there's key difference. One is achievements, right? Celebration of achievements, and then the other one is recognition of particular behaviors. Recognition of particular behaviors happens every day, and you might do that. You might have to do the recognition several times during the day. A celebration of an achievement is not something that happens often. It's reserved for something exceptional, right? All right. While you think, we're gonna go into celebration of values and victories, right? So it's important because you are addressing the entire team, and you are recognizing publicly the contributions of individuals in front of everyone, right? So that it's not just between you and me, it's here is what Emily did, and so we highlight in front of everyone how great Emily is as a person, or how great the team did as a whole, right? So celebrations are an important part of what it takes to make extraordinary things happen, right? They can be large, like parades, of course, ceremonies, banquets, college commencements, or they can be also as small as a high five. Now, as small as a high five, but they need to be public in nature, right? Otherwise, it's not really a celebration in the sense that we're talking about over here. Okay, that might be more a recognition. Celebration, even at the personal level, is important to maintain a level of fulfillment, and you have to master these essentials. Create a spirit of commitment and be personally involved, which is a recurrent theme. You have to get to know the people, you have to get personal and customize the recognition of contributions. But in the sense, when we're talking about celebrations, you also have to be personally involved to add your, I would say your, you have to personalize it, right, for the team. I have let me see, we can skip this particular video. I do have this one that I want to watch.
Celebration is so important. We are in the middle of football season and it is fun. It is electric. I don't know about you, but I love to go to games and sit in those stands and watch. But I especially love to do it when I get to be part of the winning team. This is Jen Patterson, and we are on a mission to help leaders and teams end miscommunication. So you are sitting in the stands and the quarterback from your team runs down the field and gets over the goal line and scores a touchdown. Now just imagine for a moment that then everyone in the stands was like, yeah, okay. Or the quarterback was like, yep, I did it, on to the next play. Seriously, that would be crazy. No one would go to these games. And yet I watch leaders do that over and over. Are you celebrating your wins? And when you're not, what effect is that having on you? And what effect is that having on your team? You see, I work with a lot of overachievers, and overachievers are always thinking about the next thing that they've got to do and never stop to pause and celebrate and enjoy the moment. But the reality is that success without fulfillment isn't success. No wonder so many leaders are burned out and feeling exhausted. You have to pause and celebrate. This is really important. And for those of you who are trying to start a new habit, this is the key. Because celebrating something, feeling it in your body, is how you hardwire it into your brain. So if there's a new habit that you want to start, celebrate every time you do it. So here are 3 ways to make celebration a habit. Number 1, set up a trigger. Use Siri or a calendar reminder or some piece of object or something in your office or your home or your car that reminds you to celebrate. The sooner you can celebrate, the better. So number 2, make it a habit. So I was working with one executive, and he had a great habit of on the light rail ride home at night, he would go back through his notes from the day and just see what progress he had made and what needed to be done the next day. And he realized this was the perfect place for him to tuck in celebration, to look at the progress he was making and to celebrate. So number 3, get others involved. As it turns out, it's actually more powerful when you celebrate with others. This is why you have that natural instinct to want to call someone and celebrate when something really good happened. I was recently doing some work with an executive team, and they were trying to do a big turnaround in the business, and they weren't seeing the traction that they wanted. So I asked them, what are you doing to celebrate the little wins along the way? Nobody wants to be part of a losing team, and it can take a while sometimes to turn a business around. So you have to celebrate the progress along the way. All right, so I just shared with you 3 ways to
Okay. All right, so
bring celebration.
Let me see. We're almost over with this slideshow. Okay, so you are getting the sense right now that, of course, we're talking about leadership, right? But we need to realize that we are people, right? And of course, leadership is how to get other people to get to do things, to motivate them and to encourage them to do things. But we are all people, right? And so we are social animals, right? And we need these celebrations, not just because they are nice to have, but it's highly important for their performance and for our own performance as well, as the video mentioned. Okay, so create a spirit of community. Humans are social animals. We're hardwired to connect with others. Leaders have the responsibility, really, to promote a culture of celebration and feel a sense of unity. Celebrations, especially those in public, reinforce actions and behaviors that are important in realizing shared values and goals. So celebrate accomplishments in public, provide social support, meaning be there for your team, and invest in fun. Invest in fun, it means even if your job might be particularly boring in nature, you must always be open to make it as less routine as you can, right? So investing in fun and in distraction is important for your team's performance. And finally, as we were repeating throughout the slideshow, you have to be personally involved in this process. You have to show that you care to your team. You have to spread stories. That means your own personal experience, okay? And make celebrations part of your organizational life. Make celebrations part of what you do routinely to be a good leader and have a really performing team. Okay, so that's my presentation. I hope you like what I had to say. I think I took a little longer, Emily. No?
That's good. You're good because we have until 5. So
Okay, very good. So remember those 5 leadership practices. There are many other models of leadership out there, but we feel that the 5 leadership practices is easy and fast to understand. There is no single recipe for good leadership, but what is important is you, like it says here, you really need to be personally involved in leadership and in the growth of your team. And that's throughout all of these lessons. If you are not personally involved, if you are not inspiring other people with your own values, then you're just a supervisor and you're just telling people what to do. Okay. Well, thank you for having me. And I see some of your responses in the chat. I appreciate it. Thank you. O'Neill, you had a comment?
Yeah, David, I want to say thank you so much for the presentation. Also, I want to say you are a great example of recognition, because something we can see in the student life building is you recognize everybody. And I think this is one important step to continue motivate everyone in the student life building. Thank you so much for your great job, David.
Thank you, Neil. I appreciate it. And that what you just did. You are exercising leadership and reinforcing my commitment to you guys. So thank you.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, when you said that, I was just like, here. Said it perfectly. Oh, Ibrahim, did you say something? I think it cut out a little bit.
No, I was just thanking David too as well.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, guys. So if no more questions and you're enjoying the presentation, I actually have something else to do. But thank you for having me, Emily, everyone.
Thank you, David.
Have the rest of the nice evening. Okay?
Thank you as well.
All right. Let me make you host. So
okay, cool.
Change host. Okay, very good. See you guys.
Thank you, David, again. Okay, on that note, I'm gonna put in the chat, the attendance for this workshop. And then before we go into the public speaking, I'm gonna just make a few little announcements. Let me share my screen just to reaffirm everything so that everybody's like, has the support and information. Okay, I'm gonna share my whole screen so y'all see. Okay, so if anybody's interested, just as a reminder, the TED Talk, and yes, that's me, the TED Talk speaker competition is tonight. So if you feel comfortable with your speech or any speech, even if you're not giving it, at this particular time, apply. It is due tonight, right before midnight. So, yeah.
Quick question. If you do apply and let's say you applied and you wanted to back out, is that like
you
is there a consequence or no?
No.
Okay.
There isn't. No.
Because I was working on a speech that I'm gonna run by you later.
Okay.
And we see. So I'll just go ahead and apply then.
Yes, definitely. I encourage everyone to apply because this is it's a really great experience. And
hello. Sorry for that.
Hi, Christian. What's up?
I can't talk right now because I have class.
It's okay. It's okay. No problem at all. Okay. Yes, so this is due today. You have to be a CUNY student in order to apply. You have to have a pre-recorded 2-minute pitch. You have to have, your file, a PDF, about a page to apply. So there's that. We also have some volunteering. Everything else for this workshop is due November 3rd. So if you still have attendance requirements for all the workshops, you can make them up. You could say you missed out on workshop 3, you could go back, watch the recording, do the attendance, do your reflection. We will count it up until November 3rd. And this includes also your volunteering. So there's a few that just stuck out to me through Club Central. There is a few this upcoming weekend, the 26th, with planting trees, volunteering in different parks. There's Van Cortlandt Park. And then there's also the chemistry club. While this is not volunteering, we'll take, you can utilize this as an hour, of volunteering. If you want to donate blood, we'll count it. I'll be putting all of these in the Google Classroom if you're interested in doing any of these. And then, yeah, as noted before, everything will be posted in Google Classroom. We have the final speech. You can either present today after I make these announcements, or you can make an appointment in the Student Life building, use the VR headset. You can do that either by in person, making the appointment, or you can email Campus Life. And that can count if you want practice in that way. Or you can upload a video, which is going to become live at 6 o'clock today. So it'll have, final speech upload. You can upload it right directly in Google Classroom or send me a WhatsApp, whatever is convenient for you. This is a tool. I made it so flexible. You don't have to do all of those. I made it flexible to meet you where you're at. Whatever you feel like you're comfortable doing, baby steps, kind of like similar to the first workshop. Whatever you feel like will give you the experience that you need. I remember back when I first started Intro to Leadership, it was mandatory. You had to do public speaking, and I was very shy and I hated it. I was like, I don't want to do this. I really don't like it. I don't want to put any of you through that. If you want to do it, just by doing a video recording, uploading it, totally cool. I think the beauty of doing it now, like live in class, is that it's as close as what you could get in a real setting. And also because if you are applying for the TED Talk, you'll get that immediate feedback and you have a few hours to work on it and things like that. Okay, so then other than that, I already discussed this. Graduation requirements. So graduation requirements, make sure that you've completed the pre-leadership self-evaluation, which you should have done in the beginning of this class. Complete 4 out of the 5 workshops. For attendance, you can go back and do that up until November 3rd, right before midnight. And then you're going to complete a post-leadership self-evaluation as well. The post-leadership is similar to the pre-leadership. It's like the same questions pretty much. You have to complete that in order to graduate. And then for the additional leadership pin, you also need to have 5 hours of volunteering. Make sure that you go into Google Classroom. And when you're doing your volunteering, I'm going to go down. It is under course information, under volunteer sheets. And the sheet is here. If you don't happen to have this sheet, it's okay. Write it on a paper, just with the similar information of the day, the time that you worked, the hours worked, and get a signature from the supervisor that was, overseeing your volunteering.
Okay, because I was gonna say I've been volunteering at the food bank too, so
Perfect.
he's been taking down our names, and I don't know if this is Baraka, by the way. So
Yeah, that's yeah. If he's been taking down your names, he can even write a letter and say, I have on record that this semester he worked this amount of hours since September 1st, and we'll
Okay.
count that. Yeah.
Okay, great, great.
Yeah, no problem.
Emily, I
So
have a question.
yes, please.
So for the friendship, whatever that was called,
Let me see.
I think her name was Megan. She said that
Oh,
she
yeah.
was going to send that directly to you. She wouldn't allow us to have her sign the sheet. Did she do that?
She might have been busy. If I could think about why she would say that.
Okay.
Or it
but
could be a confidentiality thing because she's a counselor of some
Okay.
sort. So
my question is, did she send it though? Because that would be part of our hours.
as far as I could see, I did not get anything, so I would recommend emailing her and
Okay.
CC me.
Okay.
And then ask her if she can follow through and just as a reminder, please send Emily
Sounds good.
volunteer. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for staying on top of this too, because like there's a lot of students because we have another workshop as well. And so it's
Absolutely.
like, okay, as they come in, we have record. So
Okay.
that's the best way. And then we mark it down who sends what. So, but
Thank
yeah.
you.
No problem. So it's 5 hours for the leadership pin, and we just made it so that if you do 10 hours, you also get a digital badge for your LinkedIn. It'll actually say community engagement. It shows that you're actually volunteering and whatnot. So all of this, again, is November 3rd by right before midnight, 11:59 p.m. And yeah, the post leadership, if you want to start filling that out, this is the QR code. Let me actually take it and I'll put this in the chat for you guys. Let me stop sharing for a second. Post eval. All right. That should be the post evaluation. And it's really cool. Like the post evaluations are really significant for us because it actually shows us like what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, how we can improve our programs. That's actually one reason why we ended up doing public speaking. We weren't going to do it, but because we had like just a lot of people last semester saying we want public speaking, we just had to do it just because of that. So we tailor it based on what you tell us. So it's really important. Like we really look at everything that you tell us. So yeah, I see Erica, you have your hand raised.
I have an additional question while we're waiting for Erica. Is that okay? It's
Yes.
Michelle again.
Mm.
So is there a way for us to go back and check our attendance to make sure that we've completed everything?
That is an excellent question. I'm actually really glad that you brought that up. So you have approximately 2 weeks to complete everything. For those who have been keeping up with, submitting things within the week from when they're posted, I'm actually going to start actively starting this week, going back and checking if you're missing 1 or 2 things. If you're missing more than that, it's a little harder to be like reaching out to everybody who's signed up for a course. But if you're missing like 1 or 2 things, I will reach out to you and say, hey, I'm missing your pre-evaluation. Please complete that. So whatever, I usually reach out via email. So whatever you signed up for registration wise, you'll be getting an email. If you didn't get anything from me, then you're probably on track, but you can always feel free to reach out to me again, just to see like, hey, do you actually have everything? So I should be up to par with everything within the next week, and I'll be reaching out by next weekend. So
thank you.
You're very welcome.
Next weekend, but before November 3rd.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe Erica. Erica, can you hear us? All right. If not, it might be an issue. If you can put in the chat your question, if anything. On that note, oh, I see another question. Is volunteer part of what we need to complete in order to graduate? That's actually a really good question. Let me go back. So it is not mandatory to do that section. Let me share my screen. I'm going to share a portion of my screen so I can zoom in a little bit better. And okay, so these are the requirements. So the absolute requirements that you need in order to graduate is the first 4 that you see in these bullet points. So you need to complete the pre-leadership self-evaluation. You need to complete 4 out of the 5 workshops and assignments attached to them, if there are any. I haven't really had those, just to, give you, because I know y'all are students and things get busy. You have lives. Don't want to overwhelm you, but, doing the attendance for the workshops, and then complete the post evaluation that I just shared. So you have to do those 3 in order to get the digital badge that says you completed leadership. There's also a digital badge that says that you have public speaking for this particular workshop. So you could get 2 digital badges. If you want an additional badge, it's not a requirement to get, the public speaking or the leadership badge. You can also do volunteering, which is documented. You have a supervisor sign it and whatnot, but you get a nice digital badge as an extra thing that you could put on your LinkedIn. So I really wanted to give you guys like additional things. If you're putting in the work, I wanted to give you those options so that you can tailor it so that you have more of that competitiveness when you do graduate. You could say, hey, yeah, I actually, do volunteering. And you can show that. It's actual proof you were certified that you did volunteering. On a side note, kind of based with the volunteering, just an FYI, I do work, and I mentioned 5 versus 10 hours. So the difference is if you do just 5 hours, you get a leadership pin. It's like a physical pin that actually has like leadership development center. You can wear it during graduation, things like that. It actually shows that you are a part of the office and you completed some extra additional things on top of this. If you do 10, you get a digital badge as well that goes with your LinkedIn. It's similar to like the BTS. You could sometimes build up to get digital badges, and that actually is like a permanent thing on your LinkedIn profile, which is almost like an unofficial resume in a way. So you could just build up, and you'll also get, if you do the 10 hours, you also get the leadership pin. So you get both. You get a leadership pin and a digital badge if you do 10 hours. On a side note, I work part-time also in the same office as Nicole Flores, our intro speaker. But I work on the community engagement side, and they're actually going to be rolling out volunteering digital badges as well. I'm currently working on them. So like if you do for the whole semester, starting from first day of classes to end of classes, if you do something, there's different tiers. So we don't have it currently, like we're still in the process of creating the digital badges for that. But if, you can go all the way up to like a platinum level, which means it's recognized by the president. So like volunteering is really important. We're not at that stage yet, but just something to keep in the back of your minds, but yeah. Does anybody have any other questions about this before we transition into public speaking? I want to make sure that you guys have all the information you need. So. Okay. On that note,
I'm sorry, I have one more question.
Yes,
It
please.
just came to me.
Yes.
So for the video, for the additional badge that we get for public speaking, you had the additional ways. So I did a moderating for a public forum. Could I send that to you for that? That was a week ago.
If you have a recording of it,
I do.
I will count it. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. Okay, awesome. So, Will Mary.
Yes, I also have a question. So I'm also taking the other class, the leadership.
Oh, leadership
For
for all.
all. Yes, and this week we will have our in-person last session,
Yes.
and we are required to make a presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask if that's if we could use that for this class as well, like if we record ourselves.
So that you will have to ask Yensley, because I know we've discussed for that particular class, there's some people that don't want to be recorded.
Okay.
And so just due to like status and the nature of that
Got
particular
it.
workshop, yeah. So if you tell her ahead of time, say, hey, I would like to record myself, just myself, is that okay? We'll accept it. So, but you have to make sure she's okay with it first. Just, yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, awesome. So, yeah, does anybody want to share with their public speaking speech? O'Neill.
I have a question about that. That is basically talking about.
Oh no, it cut out. And yes, I see the question about the attendance. Let me pull that up again. Here's attendance. Okay. Oh no, poor Neil. That was happening to me all last week, by the way. My internet was just not having it. It was just like, nope. Like, just kept cutting in and out. It was really hard to work. You're welcome. Okay, so who were the people that wanted to do their speech today? I know there were some people that mentioned that they didn't want to go first, but they wanted to speak. Okay, cool. Did you want to go? Not, you said, Robin, you said you didn't want to go first, but you wanted to go. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. So I guess on that note, we'll do Robin and then we'll do Sophia. Did I pronounce your name right?
Please hear me?
Yes.
Yes? No? Maybe so?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, so my speech is just a general thing about me. It's nothing too targeted or specialized. Is that good?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I should start. So, hello all, hello. Well, I'm Robin. I used to be a student at Hunter since 2018 up until the pandemic. Uh, I used to be a physics major, and I enjoyed it until the pandemic came, and you know, virtual classes, asynchronous classes made me feel as if I was lost. So I kind of lost my way, and I stopped going to college. But my brother, John, he went to Lehman, and he told me I should go back to Lehman, and he brought me over to Lehman, and I saw the community. I met people like Tara Tomlinson, Suzette. Yeah, we talked to David that we talked earlier. You know, it seemed like such nice people, and it seemed like such a nice environment. I can find the appointments early, you know, for advisement, bursar, whatever it may be. It seemed as if it was a superior environment. So, given that, I decided to come back. And so far, I am majoring in business management. I changed my major because it seemed practical, and I noticed that business management and human resources management especially are, you know, very stable, and in the case of human resource management, a growing industry, given the fact that, you know, human management will always be necessary. You can't necessarily replace a manager with a machine. So I figured it'd be a very pragmatic and useful tool in my life. And it's beautiful to be able to take this workshop because we're focusing on leadership and public speaking, something that is uh, part of my class as principles of business management. We have a whole chapter on leadership, the different types of leadership, classical styles, more uh, relevant to our time styles. And I believe that this workshop with my major is just like a positive feedback loop. And you know, my history in terms of employment doesn't exactly merge with my major. I've been in the restaurant industry all my life, you know, from busboy, dishwasher, bartender, waiter. And one thing I do know is teamwork. In the restaurant industry, there's no such thing as this is not my job. You know, sometimes you have to take the risk. Maybe you have to pay people out. You have to go in the safe. It's actually a lot of cases impromptu leadership where my manager isn't there, so who's there but me? So you have to take that into the consideration and use that. And it's beautiful. I have all these different factors coming in to create one big picture. It really makes me happy to see how everything is coming together. And instead of all of that, I guess I'd like to talk about my career goals. As I mentioned before, human resource management is a growing industry, and I'd like to leverage the leadership skills I'm learning in this workshop with the leadership and management skills I'm learning with my major. Hopefully, it can all come together for me to be maybe a general management manager in a restaurant because I've always loved the people aspect. I'm a people's person, and I do see a good future, even though right now I don't feel like I have all the pieces put together. I think given the community, the workshops that I'm attending and will attend, the internships that I will attend, all add up to a beautiful future. And I think that's over 2 minutes. I don't want to go too long. That's my talk. Thank you. Thank you.
That was amazing. I loved it. Are you, my first thing is, are you planning on applying for the TED Talk?
Um,
You should consider it because I saw as you were talking, like I really did see how you would make just a natural TED Talk speaker. You were very
yeah, I
engaging.
didn't write a speech exactly, but I put in the prompts that I wanted to talk about. I can send these to you, and it's not like exactly what I was gonna say, but I just wanted to make sure I got these points. I saw you saw me peeking up every now and then.
So what
I
you
can send
can
these to you
do,
if you'd like.
yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, yeah. If you want to, if you actually want to do a TED Talk on that, which is due tonight, I know it's like short notice. Um, you need a one-page outline. So you already have those little things. You can even just do like bullet points if you want, take the main topics, try to touch on some of the stuff that you talked about. I'm literally, after we're done here, I'm going to be putting this into our YouTube channel. And then there's a really good tool that you could use called Otter AI. So you can actually transcribe your speech and just copy and paste that and put that into your one draft. So you're not like, what did I say? Like,
Yeah.
And so there's that. And like, you can even take, um, take your, because you have to upload a video too. So you just had your video, so you can have that and put it in if you want. So I really think you would make you have a good shot in doing it. So, and I like it especially because,
I'm sorry, just give me 1 second. I am so sorry.
you're perfectly fine. Yeah, no problem. Okay, so on that, I'll share the rest of the comments afterwards.
That was really wonderful.
I know,
I
right?
felt like I was listening to John and looking at him talk.
Right?
Oh no.
Yeah, he's a good friend, by the way.
I think
Yeah, a
I've
lot of
seen you around because I've gone around with John.
Really?
But
Oh,
don't let
yeah.
me hold up the next speaker.
No, all right.
Thank you, Emily, for your input. And yes,
Yeah.
can you please put that in the WhatsApp or the chat so we can reference that after
Yes,
this?
yes, definitely. So awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. I think Safia, if I'm remembering the name, Safia.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to go?
Okay. Oh, hold on. Okay, so my speech is something about me and what I study in my major, so I will go into that right now. Hi, hello everyone. My name is Safia Richards. I'm a transfer student from Dominica. I used to go to Dominica State College and I used to study information technology, and then now I am studying at Lehman for a computer science major. And I chose computer science because it was something that was really interested to me in the past. I used to do coding in high school, and then I've also done some workshops. So that is when I used to lead a team where we would create our own websites and then we would just present it out to the public. And it was a really good experience. It was actually very rewarding, stressful, but really rewarding. And I would also want to go more into leadership because of that role. And I don't really want to just do computer science only. I wanted to be more diverse in my talents and everything. I learned programming. I learned some programming skills during my times in college. I've also done I also done other stuff as well, like writing. So I've joined a lot of clubs here at Lehman, like the school newspaper, um, like clubs like Carib Unity, those things. And I wanted to build upon my skills. And it was really, it was a really interesting experience to learn more about different things and then experience stuff and just network with other people and to just learn more. So yes, that's all for me.
Wonderful, thank you. Like I really liked your speech because you seem like such a natural speaker. You had such really good transitions, like even better. Like I can't do that. I'm just like what? Like and it flowed very
Can I speak
nicely.
too?
Oh, thank you.
Christian, I think I heard you.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. So what we're gonna do?
Have a 1 to 2 minute speech.
Okay. Look, I know I'm not. I know I'm not. I know I might not seem to be a speaker, and even I count myself I am. But if you would give me a chance, I can show you that I'm someone that could be very committed, very hardworking, with the right motivation and the right time. No, the right motivation and the right organization. I can help you people, and I can lead into something that most people would dream of. I want what I want what I really want to become a speaker for is to help people. Not only that, but I also want to inspire many people like me who has a disability, who might talk too much or might stutter too much. But I want to like advocate myself to the world and to everyone who just like me. That's why I want to be that's why I want to be a speaker for. That's why that's why you should chose me.
Christian, that was amazing. I really liked that because it was very I empowering. Yeah, like Will Mary's putting claps in the chat. I love how you tied into like your personal stuff and then also like why it's important. And like you did just a fantastic job.
What do you think I need to do better on?
Honestly, I don't think you need to do better on anything.
Okay.
You were very good.
Okay. And for the record, I'm sorry that I haven't like been to meetings that much or talked too much in meetings. The reason why is because I have class during that time.
That's not a problem. Yeah. We have all the recordings on the Google Classroom, so you can go
So
back and watch those.
yeah, I have class during that time. That's why I can't like talk,
Yeah.
because if I talk, then interrupt class time. So I
Yeah.
really shouldn't like do both class time and this at the same time, do I?
I agree. Yeah, your classes are more important right now.
Okay.
So, yeah. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for speaking. That was really good.
Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else would like to go?
I don't mind going, but I'm like editing my outline to just give me like because you know it's because it's like I'm working on a very complicated topic for one of my classes, so I wanted to just kind of use this time to really uh focus on my thoughts real quick. Yeah, like I just finished talking to like a tutor earlier to kind of help me, so yeah, I could go. Just like I guess I need like another minute actually.
Okay, yeah. Take your
Yeah.
time on that. Yeah. I see a question in the chat. I recorded my speech. Can I send you the link? It would be better if you send it in Google Classroom. Let me actually go back and I'll make it live right now and I'll send you the link there where you can upload it. So let me do that. Give me a moment. I'm gonna post it now. Okay. It is assigned. And let me share that in the chat. And if you have any issues, then you can send it, send the link. But it's better, like, just in general, word of wisdom, it's always good to like have it, you know, in emails or like in case something happens where, oh no, my file got deleted. I have no record of you sending it to me. Here, if you send it an email or Google Classroom, there's a record. So things happen. I want to make sure that you get credit. So and yes, your talk is already recorded. You shouldn't need to do it again. There might be a good way to like what I would recommend, Robin, is I'm gonna post this recording for this workshop in YouTube. If you take just the section of you speaking and then upload that into the TED Talk application. So don't upload the whole thing, just you speaking, and then you don't have to give the speech again. There's ways around doing that. I'm not a tech person, but if you need help with that, reach out to me in WhatsApp and I can try to bug my husband and be like, help, like if you need help with that. But yeah, let me see other questions. Oh, Neil, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have a lot of problems with my connection and sometimes I try talking and my connection is not working.
Yeah.
I have one question about talking. Can we talking about whatever thing like or experience in the program, for example?
Yes, if you want to talk about how the program is, I'd be happy to hear that. If you want to talk about just something going on in your life, if you always have really good things to say. So anything that you say, I think would be good. So
Can I try now?
yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay. My name is O'Neill Philpo. Probably some of you see me in the mirror before. And I want to take in this opportunity to talking about how I really believe this program is really important for me and probably all of you. Some of the things I want to mention about this program is help me to see leaders is not only a positions. Leaders are people who inspires others to continue. Like for example, when you motivate the others to continue in the goals they had. And that's in something really important for me because that show me if you want to be a leader, you has to be important for the others. Also, other of the thing I really learned about this program is how everyone here are really good in motivate other and help you other. For example, I see sometimes people in the chat give you the information in the link, or if you had question, they answer in the chat. And I believe this is a form of we can see leader here in this program because believe it or not, when you help you others, you can motivate others to continue learning new stuff or continue or be part of this program. Also, I want to say I am really grateful for all of you here because all of you continue challenge the process and say, I want to continue learning and show the others I can continue improve my skill of leader. And this is something we can see here. Look, in this program right now, we had a lot of students, and that show a lot of people here are really want to continue improve the skill. And I want to say thank you all of you for being part of the program and also motivate others in this program because that's something really important. I want to say thank you all of you for that.
That was so wonderful, Neil. I loved it.
And thank you, Emily, because you are probably one of the people who supports most everyone in the group chat, when questions. And also, if I say something wrong, you you repeat my question to the others. For example, I see in the beginning of classes we had promotional program, and if I say something no clear or wrong, you repeat my question to the others, and I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thank you. I appreciate your appreciation. And I
Yeah.
love how you tied in the whole workshop. So that's yeah. I actually have some thoughts. I want to follow up with David and Suzette on something, and then I'm gonna follow up with you. I'm still in planning mode, but I would like it if you can maybe be involved in our next leadership workshop. So I'll follow up with you. Just as you were speaking, I was like, maybe we could do this. So I'll get in touch with you. So awesome. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure
Thank
to
you,
have
all
you.
of you.
Yeah, so I'm somewhat I organized my draft. I guess I could kind of use for my presentation since that way it to kind of more as a tool for me to not to stay focused. Can I share it? I guess for everybody to kind of like look at.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. How do I do that again?
Oh, let me make you a
Do I put
co-host.
it?
Let me
I thought it was gonna be like on chat. Okay.
Okay, so you're a
Let me see.
co-host. If you want to share your screen, you could do that if you'd like.
Okay,
Um,
so How do I do that?
There's a green button at the bottom of the screen. It has a little arrow. That's what I'm always like, where is it? It's like,
Okay. Gotcha.
Mm.
Okay. So I guess, can you see my Word document?
It's yes, yeah. Now
We can see it.
Okay. So I'm working on a oral presentation for my neuroethics class to kind of talk about, what is like, I guess, like what moral or philosophical question that, I wanted to address, or, that the students wanted to address. And mine was like, what is fear of missing out? Which I kind of ended up kind of reducing all of like my research too, because at first I wanted to kind of talk about like the loneliness epidemic and how we're kind of living sort of like in a post-truth world, as in, because of like the introduction of like AI, it makes it very convenient, for us to kind of, help even like draft our like emails, to even like answers, including this outline. This out, because of like how much I had to do. I was like, I needed a robot to just kind of, to fix it up for me, right? So with that kind of like being said, I wanted to just kind of use myself, even myself as an example to what exactly that means, because I myself did not even know what FOMO was, because it's not like I am very engaged with it, with like, I guess, with social media in general, which is, I guess, kind of ironic, because I am an information systems major here at Lehman, and so despite that, I am very familiar, however, to how a lot of information nowadays is kind of gets processed, and how it just kind of gets disseminated, as in how it's kind of spread and kind of served to, people when it comes to advertising, when it comes to even looking for school, it comes in different statistics, how many people is eating what to whatever, and a lot of it can be detrimental to our health, and we don't even recognize it because it just becomes so familiar with us, every time we open up our phone, like, let's say you was like looking up a biography of Michael Jordan, then 2-3 minutes later you want to see an ad by Nike, to sell you some sneakers, and even those sneakers in itself are very popular, and you might want to get them, especially like if you're like in high school, kids always want to have like the latest thing, kids want to be hip, especially with TikTok, everything is kind of going viral. So everybody is always trying to be, kind of relevant to our point in time. Otherwise, it's just, then it's out. And that whole mind state in itself is what is kind of driving a lot of us to be in a competitive, mindset. And when you're in competitive mode, we're not kind of seeing each other as equal anymore, and that is what my main focus was wanted to kind of dive into, because when you are trying to strive for to, I guess, like, to kind of like one up or another, or even like attempting to even be a part of a community, right? That is easily manipulated when people know what are your intentions are to kind of sell you something, sell you a book, stuff about how do you be social, there's so many things. Even if you're trying to help yourself, there's always something or other that would try to take advantage of you. And not to say that it's always like a bad thing, because of course, I would love some advice when it even comes to like public speaking, because like during my research, it just kind of splintered off into how much of it is just kind of trickles down even to our younger generations now, ironically speaking, struggles with identifying like spam email, you know, I would have thought, like our grandmas or whatever would still be caught in scams and things like that, but no, it's our younger kids who we would think would be very hip to, you know, technology having, because they are the first generation, I think, like under 12 years old, to have it already be integrated in our lives. But, you know, again, I don't want to keep like rambling about all of this, but because I wanted to really kind of simplify it. But yeah, it does kind of lead into how like into depression, people kind of abusing drugs because, you know, as a way to kind of, you know, stay up, or, you know, to kind of cope with, you know, feelings, you know, insecurities that they have, you know, because we're always trying to, you know, think about tomorrow, where, you know, at the end, finally, I wanted to just kind of advocate to really take the time and be present, you know, really take the time and really kind of digest what you're reading, what you're seeing, even what I'm saying right now. Like, even if it sounds bogus, look it up like right now on your phone, you know, like anything that I have been, you know, mentioning so far, you know, because all of these small steps brings empowerment to yourself. This is you taking control of what you want to know, you know, what is the reality of the situation, what is being manipulated, you understanding what is kind of being sold to you, and you just and agreeing if you want it, you know, fed to you in that way. So yeah, that's my presentation. I know that was a lot. I'm sorry. I don't know how much time I spent. You know, people gotta go.
I really liked it because you had so many different concepts. You had a hook, and it was like, tell me more. Every time you were talking about things, it's like, oh, I want to know where you're leading to. And you brought up the whys. You brought up like kind of how to, you know, how it'll help you, how, you know, just kind of address the issue a bit. But you also left it open, kind of empowering other people. So, and it sounded, everybody here is like a natural. I keep saying that, like you're a natural, because it seems like very like, you know, conversational almost. Like I could really like be like, yeah, comfortable with like, you know, tell me more. So yeah, excellent
Thank you.
presentation. I
Because
love.
like I was a bit worried. I didn't want to sound like scatterbrained, and you know, some of it can seem, you know, what's the word? Like controversial or whatever. Like it's like hard to talk about like at Thanksgiving dinner. But you know, imagine Thanksgiving now is just like, you know, people are dreading it because, you know, we have that one aunt or uncle who's just is just saying things that they're not supposed to say or whatever. But
Yeah. To
you
be
know,
honest,
so
I actually am reading a book right now as you were speaking. It's for my research methods class. It's called Lies, Damn Lies, and Science.
oh
And
yeah.
it's a really great book. I'll actually, you know what? I have it in electronic form. I'll actually post it in Google Classroom for y'all, because it's a really good book, and it does touch on the stuff that you were talking about as well. Like we need to be a little bit more you know, like aware
Yeah.
of things and the stakeholders you mentioned. And it's just like,
Yeah.
it is a thing that we're, you know, that in our current reality right now. So it's an important issue, you bringing this up too. So
Mhm.
were you going to
'Cause
apply for the TED Talk? Is it?
No, I don't know. It's like, you know, because again, this was so overwhelming, you know,
Right.
for me. So I needed like, I guess like a space, you know, I wanted to kind of
Yeah.
take advantage of this space. So I don't want to kind of like end up looking silly out there, you
Oh, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. You have
know.
a lot of time to prepare for it. But if I think when you apply for TED Talks, it should be
Oh.
something at a place like you feel ready, like if, oh, this is a possibility. So I say there's nothing wrong with practicing, and then next year you can apply. So
Okay. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I would like, you know what, I would consider, you
nice.
know.
And in a year's time, if you do apply, you can always reach out to me. This isn't just a 5-week workshop. I am available to you guys as a mentor, as a friend. Please feel free to reach out to me, even like, you know, 10 years from now, and be like, hey, even like things that seem unrelated, like I need a letter of recommendation, like those who are like engaging and talking and whatnot, you are memorable. I will I will be able to write a letter of recommendation for you guys, because you know you put in that work. So, and it's the least that I could do to be like, yes, this was an awesome student. Like, so,
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks everyone. I
mm,
appreciate it.
mm.
Mm.
I saw 2 hands raised. I see Ellis Joe right now, and then I saw somebody else. Ellis Joe, do we want to
Yeah. So I was like thinking about actually like, can I do it like right now real quick?
Yeah, please.
All right. All right. So greetings. My name is Ellis Joe Ramirez. I haven't been real active in class because I'm here, but I'm actually like working. So I have a managerial role and I manage a cake shop. Um, but today I learned something real insightful that I learned from David. And one of the things that he said was a leader is someone that inspires others to work to a common goal. So it's not just about telling them what to do, because that's just a manager. So I learned as leaders, we shouldn't display or we shouldn't transmit our traumas to our employees, to our team members. We should learn to heal from that. So coming from growing up, my childhood, my parents, it was like I didn't receive any type of acknowledgement for the things that I did right. It was almost like it was just an expectation. It was like, this is what you have to do. Like my father was telling me like, I'm not here to tell you what you did right. I'm just here to tell you what you did wrong so you get better. And I see his mindset. I understand. But when it comes to being a leader, we all have different paths and we come from different places. We have to understand that and learn to recognize our employees because they can burn out quickly you don't if they feel like what they're doing is not enough. Sometimes you can even that correlates to even children, to siblings or whatever in that case. So it's key to just heal from that trauma and not exhibit that and push that forward and be the difference. If we truly want to be a leader, leaders cause change and they change a generation, they change and they equip other people to become leaders as well. Thank you.
That was amazing. I loved it. You had such a personal story that touches the soul. And it's a very important message that I feel that it's relatable and that it can heal people. So I actually want to thank you for sharing that because it does show the value of.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
I feel like just in the moment right now. That was just so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. And I'm seeing some people in the chat too. It's always more than just your job. People depend on you, and I see claps. Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much. Johnny, did you want to speak?
Hi guys. Hi Emily. Yes, I want to speak. I never spoke before in the class, but I'm shy this semester, so I wanna say something about me. Yes, I'm Johnny Reyes Castro. I'm from the Dominican Republic, but I'm transferred to Lehman, and I love this program because it helped me to become a better person and to learn something new and to know a lot of talents out there, like you guys, like everybody brings something to the table. So it's empowering. In this class, in this program, I learned how to be kind with each other and how to share what I think to the world. And some of them is like David said before, how to also manage people. In my case, I deal with a lot of people. And something that I learned and I can share from this program to those people is how to be kind to each other, how to be to have compassion and to be nice and to be helpful. So, and those are the things I learned for this program, and I want to share it with you because it's been amazing, and all of you is being an inspiration for me.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I wouldn't be able to tell that you're shy. You just...
This semester, I don't know why, but I through this program, I wanna become better and I wanna speak more.
You're on the road. You're definitely, I see you as again, another natural speaker. And you have such heart, like, coming out. Like, I love how you tied it in with, like, things that you learned, but then you brought it, like, back to empathy, which is, like, so your speech actually made me want to get to know you more. So,
Thank you.
seeing also in the chat, workshops are similar and not afraid of speaking publicly. Yes. Amazing. Awesome. So is there anybody else that wants to speak before Will Mary? Oh yeah, Will Mary, would you like to speak?
Hi, I'm so nervous. I'm very
Oh, no.
nervous. Like all of them did so great that I'm very shy. I'm super shy, but I'm gonna give it a try. I'm not gonna share my screen, but I'm gonna try to read a little bit. So my name is Wilmary Dixon. I was born and raised in the Dominican Republic, and I came to the United States in 2009. When I came, my life changed. As a student and as a person, I changed a lot. I miss my friends and everything, and I feel like I didn't get to get the full experience of being a high school student in the Dominican Republic, but I also didn't get the full experience here. So I always felt like I was missing something. And also as a first generation student as well, I always feel like, did I miss something? What does that mean? So that's why I like to take workshops like this one that helps me and motivate me to do better, to learn about the culture and to learn about different strategies to be a better leader. I am a transfer student. I graduated from Bronx Community College. I got my associates in human services, and I'm inclined towards social services, mental health, education, and counseling. I love to help other people, and one of my greatest skills, I will say, is empathy. I'm very empathetic and I like to advocate for others. That's why I also joined the SGA this semester. One of the things that I was more scared about, it was to speak in public, but not in general, but in English. I was terrified. I remember the first class that I took on communication. After I did my speech, I went to the bathroom and cried because I thought that I did horribly. But this semester I'm trying to challenge myself and to be more open to do the things that I don't feel so comfortable doing, like this. So I thank you all for this opportunity, for listening to me. And I'm very grateful as well for this workshop. Thank you, Emily, and for all the guest speakers as well. One of my favorite was when Suzette came. It really impacted me, and it was amazing. It was amazing, and I love her leadership. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Will Mary. I would like, as a personal request, if you keep that speech, because I could see that very clearly being a commencement speech in the future if you tweak it and you add on to it and you edit it. It shows a lot of struggles that you've went through, how you've overcome them. It tells about yourself, but it's also relatable. And yeah, so and I want you to re-explore it when you graduate, when commencement. I encourage you to actually apply to be commencement speaker, just because I think you have a good shot in actually doing that. And you know, when you go back and explore it, like edit, like what's different, how can, you know, what has helped you overcome that and things like that. For those who don't know, anybody who is graduating, you can apply to be the commencement speaker, and it's through the Office of Campus Life. Around March, don't quote me on the month, but it's early spring semester. They make in Club Central, in the forms, they'll have where you can like apply to be the commencement speaker, and you have to submit a form of what you're going to speak about. And usually it is the student experience at Lehman College. And that right there is a commencement speech, if I've ever seen any. So yeah. Never be scared of speaking English. Many in states only know one language. Remember this. Yep. United States, we actually do not have an official language here. Like, and they did that on purpose. Like, we are a country of immigrants. All languages are equal. They should be equal. So, and that's another thing. If you want to do a commencement speech in Spanish, you can actually do that. So just keep that in mind. So yeah. I know we're over time. I wanted to give everybody the space to speak.
Can I present?
Yes, that's I was just gonna ask if anybody else wanted to speak. I want to make sure everybody has the space and chance. And I think other than Ibrahim, is there anybody else that wanted to speak, just so we get a feel? I think a lot of people left too, which is fine. If you actually have to leave, please, you know, but please also stay, you know, for if you can, just because these are really good speeches. I don't see anybody else. I'll ask again after you go, but yes, please, Ibrahim, go ahead. Oh no, Ibrahim, come back. Come back.
Yes, I'm right here. No, I'm saying that I joined this meeting on my phone, but I was would you give me a moment to like transfer to my computer and just share my screen, or is it fine? I could just go like that?
Either however way you want to do it. If you want to share your screen, you can. If you want to go as is, you can.
Okay, so I will just go as is. So hello everyone. My name is Ibrahim Idrisu, and I'm a senior here studying computer information systems here at Lehman College. My presentation for today is Jack of most trades, master of one. Raise your hand if you've ever been told to, you know, focus on one thing in your life if you ever wanted to succeed. I mean, we've all been told to focus. Okay, Emily, that's good. I mean, it's relatable. I mean, we've all been told to focus on one thing if, you know, in order to succeed. But today I want to challenge that idea, right? This brings me to the presentation, which is about being a jack of all trade, but a master of one. Most times we do hear jack of all trade, master of none, jack of all trade, master of none. But I say you could be a jack of all trade and still be a master of one. There's this, you know, there is no doubt that, you know, versatility is arguably one of the most important traits that, you know, one could ever possess or have. But I mean, don't get me wrong, being a master in one field is great. If not so, then why do we even declare majors in college, right? To study and specialize in one area. However, having skills across different areas is what makes you versatile. equipping you to be adaptable and ready for most, if not all, opportunities that you may come across. Think about it. Most of our world leaders today, for example, somebody like Elon Musk has excelled in multiple fields, and him being versatile and not sticking to one thing is one of the things that I think forces innovation. He has SpaceX, he has the what's the name? The Neuralink, he has what's the name of the internet thing again? Right? But I'm not saying being a master of one thing is bad, right? Not at all. But being a master of one thing is actually what makes you, a specialist in whatever area of your expertise is. Mastery is just like anchor. Why? Because it grounds you in your area. Being skilled in other areas also complements your skills and expertise. For instance, that's what makes you more flexible, if not being more creative in whatever you do. Remember that innovations happen when ideas from different fields all come together, right? Imagine you being able to change a car tire. This is a skill that could come in handy, right? Say, God forbid, you were traveling and you needed to change your flat tire to continue your trip. I'm sure you would agree with me that such a skill really came in handy at that point. But are you a mechanic? No, right? Probably not. But in that moment, you were able to be of service to yourself, right? Now imagine the many other skills you can learn to do in addition to whatever your main area of expertise is or might be. So don't limit yourself. Be a master of one, but also explore many other areas as well. That is if and when you can, right? You never know when the next opportunity might come from. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
I want to hear you say, thank you for listening to my TED Talk. You're applying, right? You're
Yes, you should.
Hi, Michelle.
That was phenomenal. Please apply to TED Talk.
Thank you.
You have the ideas very similar to Robin. You have ideas that are innovative and connect, and like it's inspiring. And the way you present, you use your hands to and there were other people in here too that were using, the body language. That's very important. Again, another natural. Please, I want to hear that you applied. It's due tonight.
Emily, thank you.
If you need help, again, I'm gonna be posting these things. If you don't have a video, you could do a video, but that was like amazing. Oh, Abraham, you're a tech person. You know how to do that. Robin, reach out to Abraham.
Yes.
I want to see you both apply.
All right.
You guys got this in the bag. It'd be like a Lehman TED Talk, just Lehman people applying. So.
Yes. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, and I love the topic. So it's something like, I don't want to go into that. That's a whole it's something that's relatable. We'll just end it at
Yeah. This is like my third draft because I've been working on it since last week. So it's like I made a first one. I was like, no, it's too long. Let me trim it a bit and make it more concise and impactful. But yeah.
It's great. You need to apply. I'm just
Thank you.
O'Neill.
Abraham, I really
Yes,
like
O'Neill.
your speech. Thank you so much for talking. And also, I think you had a great point. Sometimes it's important to put attention in something to improve that. I think this is a great point.
Please send me any what's the name, comments you think might improve it. I'm welcome to that idea. Thank you so much, O'Neill.
Thank you.
Amazing. You all are amazing. I feel very humbled to be a part of this group. You guys just go above and beyond, all of you. Like, just hearing from you, and it gives me a lot of hope that no matter what you're gonna do, you're gonna excel. You have so much knowledge, so much skills in you that I hope you can see that in yourself, because you're definitely, as an outsider, can say that you definitely, all of you have that. You have that spark. So one more time for space. Does anybody else would like to speak for your speech? If not, you still have the opportunity to do the VR headset. Even if you did a speech today, you could do the VR headset, or you can upload the video on Google Classroom. It's however you want to utilize that. But yeah, I guess on that note, since I'm not seeing anybody else, let me put one more time the attendance, just in case somebody missed it. And please also do the post-evaluation form. That's for the attendance. So yeah, on that note, give yourselves a round of applause for completing the 5 weeks. It's been amazing to get to know all of you. I hope that this has been beneficial for you. And yeah, please reach out if you need anything within this time frame to not just complete this, program, but just in general. So
I have a request. Can somebody
yes.
please save this chat as a text and probably send it to me on WhatsApp?
That's an idea. I wonder if I could do that as I'm
Yeah,
recording.
you could do that too, Emily.
How do I do that?
Towards
Tech
the top
person.
right. Towards the top right on the where it has the chat, there should be 3 dots.
Yes.
When you click it, it will say save.
I learned something. Okay,
Yeah.
good.
So for every meeting that you do, it gives it the meeting title, the dates, and then in that text document, it has like a list of everybody that came to the meeting, and if there was any links that was posted, it'll be there as well. Yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you for teaching me that.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Okay. Well, on that, thank you all for coming, and I'll see
Thank
you
you
guys.
too.
See you guys around.
All right, Papa. I'm gonna share the document with you, Emily. So if you could make some corrections, that'd be cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'll be around. I want you guys to apply.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, have a good night. Thanks again.
Have a good night. No problem.
Have a good night. This is the last day, right?
This is the last day. Yep.
Wow, I feel this program are really quickly.
I know. But we do also have the leadership celebration coming up. I forgot the date. It's in Google Classroom, and I'll make announcements. But yeah.
Thank you,
Thank
Emily.
you all of you for your participation.
And thank you, Johnny. I heard you. Thanks, O'Neill.
Bye, everyone.